Hello there, it's Glen Godlonton here with CIR Realty with my partner Andrew Jones. Today we're running a first-time homebuyer course and we're just waiting for our clients to get here. So we thought we would shoot just a little bit of video and tell you about the course and how we run them. Instead of sitting you into a dark, dingy classroom, we're actually going to take you out and show you 4 or 5 different homes that might be ideal for you to purchase. We're going to show you different types of homes and then explain to you the pros and cons of each type of home. When we run the course, you're obviously going to get some material. In this material, there's about 18 different sections that we're going to cover. Okay? So in each house, we're going to cover 2 or 3 of those sections to totally educate you about the home buying process. So let me now explain to you in a little bit more detail about all the different sections we're going to cover in the course. So we've taken our first-time homebuyer course and divided it into 21 different logical sections. I'd just like to briefly discuss each section with you, just to show you the amount of content that you will learn should you choose to attend one of our courses. The first thing we're going to do is provide you with some literature in the form of a book that will give you all of the reference material that you need. In the first section of the reference material, there's going to be a checklist to the steps of home ownership. In that checklist, it's going to break down all of these different sections, and it's going to allow you to check them off as you go through them. Representation. Before we go out and start looking at houses, the Calgary Real Estate Board asks us to discuss representation with you. During this discussion, we will talk to you about how we're going to help you purchase the home and what are your responsibilities and what are our responsibilities. There is a document that needs to be signed. The important thing is that this document is signed before we actually write an offer on the home. Financing. Financing is very important. There's nothing worse than going out and finding a house that you want to purchase and then finding out that you can't buy it because the bank is not going to give you enough money. So we always recommend that you go out and you get a pre-approval before we go out and start looking at houses. Now you have a choice who you get your pre-approval from. You can either do this directly through a bank or you can do it through a mortgage broker. Both banks and mortgage brokers have their pros and cons, and we'll discuss this with you, determine what is best for your specific situation. Now that you've been pre-approved and you know exactly how much you can spend, now we're going to go out and find you a home. So how are we going to do this? Well, first of all, we need to discuss how much of that pre-approval do you want to spend. Some people spend everything, but in some cases, maybe the bank approves you for $800,000, but you only want to spend $500,000. So we're going to determine how much you want to spend. Now, the next discussion is going to be about where do you want to live? Which community? If you've only got $200,000, you might not be able to live in that row. Okay, once we figure out where we want to live, we're going to talk about property types. Now, do you want to live in an apartment or a townhouse? Or maybe an attached duplex, or maybe a detached house. One of the items you're going to have to decide early on is whether you want a condominium style of ownership or a fee simple style of ownership. Within a condominium, you're going to have to pay condo fees, but there will be people maintaining the condominium for you. So this is a big decision, and we'll discuss all the pros and cons with that. So we're going to go out and we're going to search for a bunch of different homes. We'll set you up on an electronic search on the computer. We will email you listings as they come up, and then we're going to go out and look at those houses, determine which one we want to buy. So that's the fun part, going out and actually viewing the house. So once we find the house that we want to purchase, now what we're going to do is we're going to have to write the offer. So before we write the offer, in the home buyer's guide material that we're going to give you, you will get a set of sample purchase contracts. Read these in advance. So when we actually go and write the offer, you'll be very familiar with the contracts and what they say. So we get the offer negotiated and we get it accepted. And then as part of the offer, we're going to have a couple of condition dates and times. So what is a condition? A condition is a legal part of the contract that allows us to make sure that we have our financing, property inspection, and condominium document review in place. We can get out of the purchase contract without losing any money. One of the next most important steps is the lawyer. So after the purchase contract is signed and accepted, and we've waived all of our conditions, then these documents will go over to your lawyer. Your lawyer will review them, and they will then process all of the paperwork for land titles to facilitate the transfer of the title to your name. So we're also going to cover
how much lawyers cost, and we will also give you some good potential lawyers that you can use. So what kind of buyer's costs do you have to look at? The potential buyer costs are typically a home inspection, the legal fees. Part of the other documents that we're going to review are real property report and title insurance. The seller will give us a real property report. This document, the real property report, is created by a land surveyor, and it will show the position of the house and the fences. We're also going to give you a good recommended suppliers list of amazing trades. We're going to talk about plumbers, electricians, butchers, bakers, candlestick makers, and whoever you might need for your home before, during, and after while you own the house. I'm also going to give you a calling list of who to call before and after you move in, such as insurance companies, utility companies, that sort of thing. And on this list, there's going to be a life insurance person that you may want to consider getting separate life insurance for to cover your home purchase. We're going to talk about the City of Calgary taxes, and can you pay them yearly, monthly? What's the best way to do that? Also, as we go through the house, we're going to cover the mechanical systems of the house. We're going to talk about furnaces, so they're forced air, gravity, hot water. We'll talk about water tanks. We'll talk about boilers. We'll talk about aluminum versus copper wiring. We'll talk about all the different plumbing types. PEX versus poly B versus galvanized. We'll talk about roof types, shingles, membrane roofs, all that sort of stuff. All these mechanical items we're going to cover as we're walking through each houses during the course. One of the other things I love to discuss is secondary suites, legal versus illegal. During the course, we'll take you to some fully legal and some not legal basement suites. The important things you need to look out for are window sizes and smoke alarms and fire code type stuff.
So we just finished up our home buyer course today. We started up in Aspen at a nice 2-story townhouse, and we've made our way across town to a half duplex in Queensland. I'd say overall the tour was a pretty good success today, and if you'd like to join us for our next one, just give us a call or send us an email and we'd be happy to sign you up.